All right, it's Chris Prefontaine. I'm joined by Stephen Mernick in Connecticut and Mike McCready's out in California. And if you found your way here, it's highly likely you're open to learning more about creative real estate and more in particular, how you can, as a seller, maximize your net profit in your own home. We do buy 4 different ways when I say creatively, and I'm going to ask Mike and Steve to chime in here. We buy on lease purchase. If you have equity or no equity or prefer to own still, there's some pros and cons there for you. We buy owner financing, especially profitable for you as a seller. If you're free and clear, you have no mortgage. And we buy subject to existing financing. If there is a one-time exclusion for capital gains, or there's some debt relief needed, or the home's over leveraged, that's something you could ask us about. But what we want to talk about today is what we call a signing out. We typically exit our properties on a rent to own. And you can go to whatever website you're on, you'll find a video on what is rent to own. We very, very specifically vet all our buyers, and typically our buyers either need credit repair or need seasoning just being time with the banks because they started their own business. We do that, a sign out, we call it. We'll only get paid one time, and we get paid one time from our buyer. And I'm going to show you an example of that versus all the other methods we talked about. We're going to get paid on a monthly spread because this is what we do for a business. When we take care of your property, we're also going to get paid on the back end. We're also going to benefit as investors for all the principal pay down throughout the term of this creative real estate deal. But on the assign out option, you as the seller make the most money. We go out and get the same buyer. We assign them back to you after all said and done. Mike and Steve, any thoughts on that, on the AO concept for the seller to understand, and then we can show them numbers in a chart.
It's a great option for sellers, right? Those who basically don't mind staying in the middle, right, are okay with collecting a payment every month, right? Kind of stay on top of it, managing it. There's not too much work like a traditional landlord would take on, but it definitely is the most profitable way for them to sell their property if they have a little bit of time on their side and they're willing to put in a little time managing the property and keeping up with the tenant buyer.
Steve, you want to address that actually? Because that's a big issue for landlords to know. If they're going to have landlords, they're going to be landlords looking at this.
Yeah, it's important for you to know. So like, guys, obviously with like a traditional rental, you're responsible for whoever's in the house. That means vacancies, evictions, all that stuff. What's nice about the assign out is that you have the benefits of landlord of just collecting a check, but you're not responsible for upkeep, unforeseen costs, anything that comes up. The reason why I say this is the buyers that we put in this house, key for you to know, buyers, not renters, they're responsible as if they already bought it from the bank. They're responsible for upkeep, taking care of the house, treating it like their own. So you get the benefits of the cash flow, but not having to worry about headaches.
Yeah, and let's address reality for the seller, guys. Reality is, like Steve said, you have no landlord problems. No, but reality is, do 100% of our tenant buyers who are going through credit repair or going through seasoning or saving more money, do 100% of them cash out these homes in full disclosure? No, we've got about a 2 to 10% default rate. It tends to have a 2 to 5%. And quite frankly, I think that's better than government loans and most banks have on loans. So it's really tight. We do a very, very specific vetting process with our buyers, and they do not get into a home until such time that we know all the ducks are lined up. And it's important for you to know in the assign out option, because you're involved with us, especially at the beginning, you get final look at that. We're going to tell you from doing thousands of these what we think is the best buyer, and it's ultimately your decision because you're going to be dealing with them. But know that it's only a 2 to 5% default rate. And by the way, Mike and Steve, let's address for the seller, natural question. If the tenant buyer can't close, what are their options? There's a couple simple options for them to understand.
Yeah, I'll jump in here, Mike, real quick. So usually we pivot in 1 or 2 ways. One, we can go ahead and throw another family in if for whatever reason there's some kind of life event, is usually what you were saying, Chris, with the 2 to 5%. This could be a death, it could be a divorce, could be a job relocation. These things happen. We can't really plan for these things, right? And then the other reason why is typically just because what we'll do is we'll hire maybe even an agent and just sell it traditionally at the end. You can do whatever you want with the property after that. It's up to you, but a lot of people choose to do it again because the profit centers, usually you're going to make between 10 to 20% more with this type of sale than you would in the traditional market.
Yeah, that's the beauty about it, right? I mean, there's multiple different ways to exit the property if something were to go, not according to plan, right? But the beauty about it is no matter what, you're not going to be losing on the deal, right? Because you are collecting a refundable down payment or deposit in the beginning at the time of their move in. So that's going to be there to protect you, right? It's not a first and last month's deposit where you have to return it back to the renter. Normally, what you would do, right? If
Mike,
the
huge
property's-
point. Let me put a big asterisk in that. Thank you for saying that. A security deposit implies it's going back.
right?
Non-refundable deposit is the buyer's behaving like a buyer, capturing equity like a buyer if the market's going up, losing if the market's going down like a buyer, taking care of the house. They're a buyer. They just don't have a mortgage yet. Huge point you made there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so think about it. If you have time, I don't want to say it's in your best interest. I mean, because sadly, you don't want someone to fail in this type of programs as a buyer. But if they were to fail, I mean, this whole situation would be in your favor, right? We can go out there, resell the property, place a new tenant buyer in there. You collect another down or deposit in there, and you can collect the principal pay down again if there is a loan against the property, or that monthly spread. I mean, there's so many different ways to really maximize the value and profit off of your asset. That, like I said, if you only need time, I mean, if you have time, this is the best way to sell it, you know.
Without a
Let me
doubt.
say this. Let me say who this is. This is also good for guys. And if you think of someone else we missed, this is great for you as a seller. If you look at our other options, owner financing, lease purchase, and sub 2, you say, you know what, I can wait, but I can't wait that long. And I don't mind dealing with what you guys are talking about, because when we present to you a buyer, we can literally look for a buyer that fits your criteria. It won't be less than a year. I don't want to set a false expectations, but with the AO deal, can it be in the 12 to 24 range? Yes, it very likely will be, as long as that's what we look for and present to you. So that's important too. You're looking for a lower time frame. You don't need your money immediately, or there's other headaches. Your monthly payment's too big for us to stay in the deal. There's all kinds of other ways that this works, but I want to bring that one up. I think, guys, unless you had something else, let's show the seller some numbers here. If that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, while you're doing that and looking it up, Chris, I think it's important for everybody to realize is to break this down as simple as possible. We do these type of transactions for our own business every single day. This is what we do. We're the foremost experts in the country. This is what we do on a daily basis. What you should know is all we're doing here is we're facilitating a lease to own that we would do for ourselves. We're wrapping it up in a bow and we're presenting it to you so that you can have a rock solid investment for a short-term cash out. So it's just like Mike said earlier, this is without a doubt the most profitable way you can exit a property.
All right. So you've got a property, and Steve and I and Mike could put this up here 10 different ways. I'm just going to give you one example as a potential seller. You're an expired listing. That's what EXP means. And you were on for 300,000. Expired listings are a big part of what we do because the market is turning, again, a little bit more challenging. Let's say you owe 250. You can plug any number you want in there. And let's say your payment is 1,200. Again, it doesn't matter. It's just an example. That 250 could be 2. That 250 could be 310. It could be over leveraged. Doesn't matter. If you look at the left-hand side of the display there, and we're doing a lease purchase, all we say to you is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to lock in your 50 grand in equity that we're showing. You don't have to worry about that, but you do have to wait for it. And it's going to typically be on or before 36 months, especially if this is your primary residence. Because what we don't want to do is trigger for you loss of your exclusion for profits. You get taxed with capital gains if you went past the 3 years. We can talk to you in more detail about that. It also assumes you're not over leveraged. If you're over leveraged, you're probably gonna have to do a longer term. I've done 9-year terms with sellers that wanted to keep the property in their name, wanted a lease purchase, but needed time because it was over leveraged. So in that scenario, though, you're just waiting for your 50. All the other benefits accrue to us. The beauty of the AO on the right-hand side is, let's take the same property. We're going to say to you, okay, we're going to protect your 300 still. We're going to put it on for 330 or whatever we decide. That's up to us. We're protecting your 300. We're going to go out and get a deposit of 30,000. Disclosure, that's not always up front. Sometimes it is. 50% of the time it's overtime, but let's just say it's 30,000. You're going to keep 50% of that. And our only payment in this deal is we keep 50% of it. And then we're gone. You have all the other benefits that you accrue. So now the buyer owes 300 if they put 30 down. You already received 15. So you're already 15,000 above your minimum that you told us. It doesn't mean every deposit is going to be the same. You can play with the math on this. And you get to keep the monthly spread because we're going to go out at about 15 or 1,800. And you get all the principal benefit throughout the term of this. And of course, if it's an investment property for you or you're a landlord, you still depreciate it. So those are my thoughts, guys. What do you have to share for the seller?
Yeah, I was just going to quickly say, I know you said it, but I want to just make